Hey everyone, energy prices are absolutely insane right now, and in this video I'm just going to show you what I'm doing to try and protect myself from some of those really high costs. So if you hadn't noticed, energy prices have gone totally mad. The war in Ukraine, Russia's limiting the supply of gas is all contributing to some of the highest energy prices I've ever seen in my life. And it's really scary, to be honest. For some people, I think it's going to lead to real hardship unless the government steps in with some really big measures to do something about these super high costs. However, I'm not going to take that chance, and I'm in the position where I can do a few bits myself. And it might be an option open to you too. So in this video, I'm going to go through that. So let's get into it. So the prerequisites for doing what I'm doing is having an electric vehicle and being on the Octopus Go Tariff. Now, those of you who have been following the channel for a long time will have seen videos that I made about switching on to the Octopus Go Tariff a couple of years ago. Thanks for everyone who used the referral code, by the way. That referral code is still there if you want to use it. And it does help a lot. It helps me to pay for things like this camera instead of paying for electricity and gas. And it also helps me do things with the channel that I would also not be able to do, like go and fly an electric airplane. Anyway, what I have now done is I've renewed my Octopus Go Tariff, and for those of you who do still want to sign up, you've got an electric vehicle, you can go in here and you can just sign up for that on the Octopus Energy website, and you'll need a smart meter fitted. They'll come and do that, and then once that's all done, you can start taking advantage of the rates on Octopus Go. So for those of you not familiar with it, what it means is basically you get two different rates for your electricity. One rate for during the day, one rate overnight. Now the overnight rate is super cheap, and when I was paying in my last tariff, it was 14p during the day, just slightly over 14p during the day, and it was 5p overnight, which meant I could charge my car for less than £2 at the time. Now, right now, if we then go to, all the tariffs are on the website, so we can just head over to look at the tariffs. We can see we have to put our postcode in because tariff costs are dependent on where you are in the UK. We'll filter by smart and domestic, and what we'll see now is we'll see some Octopus Go faster tariffs. So you can see here we've got a 4 hour at 1:30 in the morning, a 4 hour at 2:30 in the morning, a 4 hour at 9:30 at night, 10:30 at night, 11:30 at night, and then we've also got some 5 hours from 1:30 midnight, 1 o'clock, 1:30, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, and so on. So they've really expanded since I first signed up, the kind of rates that they're offering and the time frame that they're offering. So they're offering a 4 hour and a 5 hour Octopus tariff, which is really cool. Now the rates are very different, but what's really interesting to me is that the overnight rate isn't that different from what it used to be. Even with all of this craziness going on right now, the overnight rate is still very attractive, and that means we can really start to use that to our advantage. Now, if we check out the 4 hour, so we've got them both on the screen here. So the 4 hour overnight rate is 7.5p, so that's up just a couple of pence, whereas the overnight rate is up from 14p in my case to 40p, just over 40p, which is absolutely crazy. And basically there's no way I want to be paying this money for this. This is just crazy. This is several £1,000s a year on your energy bills, which is horrifying. So I've just renewed. Now I've chosen the 5 hour from 1:30 midnight. So the 40.13 is the day rate, and the 8.25p is the 5 hour overnight rate. Now, this tariff, as of recording this video, was still there. Now, this could all change because the situation is so, it's flexing so much, it's fluctuating so much. You know, I don't know what's going to happen. No one knows what's going to happen. So these rates could well change. All you need to do to find out what the rates are when you're looking to do something is to go to Octopus Energy or octopus.energy/tariffs. They're all there. Search for them and you will find them. Now, I'm making this video a couple of days after I locked in this tariff for me for the next year. So now I've got this tariff, what I can do is I can start to make the maximum use of the 5-hour overnight rate. So that 8.25p per kilowatt hour is what I want to use way more than the 40.13p per kilowatt hour. If I just carry on as I am going right now, a lot of my consumption would sit in that 40.13 pence per kilowatt hour. And I want to shift my consumption so that I can actually take full advantage of that 8.25p per kilowatt hour. I don't need to worry about my electric car. I've got a new electric car, but that's always been set to charge during the cheap time. And because I've got a bigger battery in that car, the 5 hours is actually going to help me out on that. But what we can do is we can do more in that overnight period. However, we are going to need to spend some more money. Now, this is where this kind of gets a little bit tricky. I'm going to be spending this money. In fact, I've started to spend this money. And the only thing that I don't know is how long this whole situation is going to last. So I'm going to spend some money. However, it's on some things that I can sell at the end of the day. So if I was just to carry on paying this 40p per kilowatt, I'm just setting fire to that money. All of the thousands of pounds I'm paying in electricity, it's just going up in smoke somewhere. If I buy some things to try and improve my situation, then that money isn't going up in smoke. It's invested in the equipment that I buy so that if this all goes back to normal and I don't need that equipment anymore, I can at least realise some of that money back when I sell it, or if I sell it. However, I don't think I'm going to need to. I think we're in this for a while yet. So anyway, now that we've talked about tariffs, what are we going to do with them? So what we're going to do is we're going to buy some batteries. Now, there is a risk here, right? If the government steps in and does something, or if the energy prices come back down, then I might have wasted my money on some batteries. However, I still have those batteries, I can sell them. So it's not all bad. Whereas if I just keep paying this money for an unknown amount of time on energy, it's just all up in smoke. I can't realise any assets, I can't sell anything to get that money back, it's just gone. So I would rather buy some batteries, and then if it all goes back to normal and I don't need batteries anymore, then I will sell them. I don't think I will, but I'm just saying, if that's what you're thinking, then stop thinking it. So we're going to buy some batteries. So let's go and have a look at batteries. I'm not going to get into installers and stuff. It's too difficult because I don't know where people live, and we don't have like big installers around the UK at the moment. So I'm just going to go to the battery factory and we're going to have a look at their website, and I'll kind of show you the kinds of things that you can get on the market. I haven't bought this one, but it's just a nice example of what you can get on the market right now. So here we are. There's a couple of systems here. Lithium-ion batteries. It comes in like a box, so it can be installed outside, inside, wherever. It looks kind of like a fridge freezer, I guess. And in the box, if you like, is an inverter, and depending on how much money you want to pay, a load of batteries. So in this cheaper one, cheaper, for nearly £5,000, You've got two batteries giving you 5.2 kilowatt hours of storage and the inverter. And I suspect that the box is big enough that you could buy in the future a couple of extra batteries should you wish to do so. So this kind of system here can be retrofit into your home, and you don't need solar panels to do this. You know, what we're talking about right now with this system is we're not going to complicate the conversation with solar panels. If you've got them, this just gets better. But if you don't, you can still do this. So you can buy, you can program your battery storage system to buy energy when it's cheap, and then discharge that energy when your house needs it when it's expensive. So it's the classic, buy low, use high, or buy low, sell high. That's what we're doing, except we're not selling it back to the grid. We're just using it as we need to use it in our home. So that's the plan. I've not bought these. This is a kind of all-in-one example, just to show you what's possible. The ones I've actually bought are these Pylon Tech units, pretty much because they were the only ones in stock in the UK right now. They're not the ones I would have gone for in an ideal world, but they were just what I could find at the time. They're a 2.4 kilowatt hour unit. They do bigger ones, but they're not in stock. They do a US 3000 and a 5000. I think they do a 4000 as well. So slightly bigger capacities per module. The thing I like about these and those Fox ones that we were just looking at is that you can stack them up. So you could buy one and an inverter, and you'd have 2.4 kilowatt hours of storage in your home. Then you could buy another one of these modules, add it into that setup, and then you'd have 4.8 kilowatt hours of storage. So you don't have to splash a huge amount of money up in one go, and this is all relative, right? Because you're still spending a minimum of a couple of £1,000 plus the fitting to get going on a system like this. But at least you're not spending like £10,000 all up in one lump to get going on this stuff. So this is part of the system. The other part of the system, which I'll show you, I'll just go to another website just to show you I'm not really promoting any particular vendor. So we'll have a look at this. This is a kind of inverter for the batteries. So this particular inverter is a 3 kilowatt inverter. What does that mean? Okay, so 3 kilowatts is the amount of energy that it can pull in at one time into the batteries, and it's also the amount of energy that it can push out into the home at one time. So you might have 25 kilowatt hours of storage in your batteries, but you can only pull 3 kilowatts at a time out. So if you've got an electric car with a charger, which is your standard home charger is about 7 kilowatts charger, and you've got a 3 kilowatt inverter here, then you will not be able to fully support the load of that charger using an inverter like this. So you'd either need a bigger inverter, or you need two of these, or some other arrangement. However, that's not what we're really talking about using it for. It's just an example of what it means, and you can get all sorts of different inverters. Now at this point, if you do have solar already, then you might buy an inverter like this. If you're looking to buy solar and batteries all at the same time, then you can now get inverters that basically do both. So you don't need to buy a separate inverter. You buy the solar panels and the inverter and the batteries all in one go, and it would all loop itself together, so that could work as one unit. However, in my home I do already have solar energy, so I actually need another inverter because I don't want to interfere with the existing installation. Plus in my specific installation, I don't have just one big inverter for my solar panels. Each solar panel is fitted with an inverter behind it. They're called microinverters, and they seemed like a good idea at the time. Anyway, so we're going to go for something like this. So what we'll end up with is the ability to support 3 kilowatts in and out of the into the batteries, and 3 kilowatts out into the home. Now, the other thing that you need to think about here is the number of hours that you can buy energy on the cheap. So again, assuming that we're not getting free energy from the solar panels or anything like that, assuming the middle of winter on a very cloudy day, and the only thing that we've got going for us is this 8.25p per kilowatt night rate, how much energy can we actually buy? Because it will get to a point on this particular inverter, for example, where there's just no point in having a battery system that's any bigger. So we just need to do some simple maths. So, you know, we'll get the calculator out, why not? I'll bring the calculator over here. So we've got 3 kilowatts and we've got 5 hours. So it's 15. So if that inverter was cranking away between midnight and 5:30 in the morning, it would be able to chuck in 15 kilowatt hours of storage into your batteries. So that's pretty decent, right? So you know, I've only bought a couple of those 2 points. So I've got 4.8. You know, divided by 3. It's just going to take just under 2 hours to charge that up. So I've got a lot of headroom here. I can, you know, get a much bigger system if I need to. Now, of course, the next thing is then how much energy do we need? And the way that we can find that out is really to look back at our bills. Now, Octopus Go is great because it gives you a daily. So just look at this one. Here's January. And we can see here a statement. We can see through the day all of the half-hour reading periods here, and we can see it doesn't look like this was a particularly sunny day in January. You can still see that the solar's taking it down, you know, during the morning, but not by much. And we look at the peak, so we don't want to look at the off-peak consumption because we know we're getting that cheap, and we're still getting that cheap. So we'll just look at the peak consumption here, and the peak consumption in my home in January is 14.39 kilowatt hours on this particular day. So we won't just take like that day, because that could be a really rare day. We could have been doing I don't know, something crazy on that day. Could have been charging the electric vehicle out of the period or whatever. So we pick another day, and we can see 9. Another day, 9, 8, 11, 12, and you know, we could really go in and look at the averages here. But you can see in January, when it's really dark, this is a pretty good day actually. This 10th of Feb. You can see the solar's chipping away in the middle of the day, but actually we've got a lot of consumption through, and that through that peak time adds up to 9, just under 10 kilowatts hours of consumption. So, you know, for me in winter to kind of fully support my home, I'd need to have a 10 kilowatt hour battery. Now, I've already said I've not bought that, and that's because I can't afford to buy that much batteries right now, but I can buy some. Fortunately, it's also not January right now. So if we go to another bill, this one is in June, July, we can see, you know, obviously huge amounts of charging overnight because of the battery electric vehicle. But again, we don't care about that because we only care about stuff outside of that peak. So you can see in this one, we've charged the vehicle, which means we've got 28.8 kilowatt hours into the vehicle, which is just under half charged for my new car. And then during the day, we've only used 4 in that peak time. So that peak time is now going to be that 40p per kilowatt hour. So we've used 4 kilowatt hours there. So we'll bring our calculator back. 4 times 0.4 equals £1.16, and it was 54p on the last rate. So, you know, it's you know, just add a pound onto that, and you've almost got what you've used there, which is horrendous amount of money for what we've used. So I've just bought 4.8 kilowatt hours of batteries. The batteries would have completely nullified all of that consumption on that day. So this is what we're going to do. We haven't got it all fitted yet, but that is how I'm going to save some money, hopefully, in this house. It does mean I have to spend a lot of money on the batteries, on the fitting, and all of that stuff. But I think long term it's good. I would rather have done it with an electric vehicle battery, but you know, just as this is all coming along, we haven't kind of got all the car stuff sorted yet. So I'm just buying a small battery system to see how we get on, and hopefully we can just chip away at these really, really high energy costs. And like I say, if things change, I can sell this system. So the thousands of pounds that I'm spending on this system, some of it will be down the drain, the installation, the buying it brand new, all of that kind of stuff. I won't get the same money back second hand. However, I am confident that I will be able to recoup some of my money if this turns out to be a bit of a dead end. What I do know for certain, and I'll say it again, is that if I do nothing, then I will be just setting fire to a heck of a lot of money that I really, really don't want to. And I'm just really horrified by this whole situation. This is absolutely crazy. The amount of money we're being asked to spend, and the lack of support. You know, the lack of support by the government is lamentable. It really is. It's just, you know, it's unforgivable. That's what it is. Anyway, that's what we're doing. We're going to buy some batteries and we're going to put them in the home. We're going to have them put in the home, and we should use that very, very cheap rate to save ourselves some energy. And you might be able to do this too. Now, I've already said there's some caveats here. You've got to have an electric vehicle to be able to get the Octopus Go tariff. You might want to call Octopus if you don't have an electric vehicle and say, can I do this without having an electric vehicle? Are there other tariffs that are available that do this kind of thing without having to have an electric vehicle? I think there's a great market. So if Octopus want to create a new tariff, which is Octopus Go Nowhere, that would be cool. So that, you know, people who just have battery storage at home can take advantage of this kind of system. You know, also, I'm very surprised that Octopus themselves haven't come out with some sort of product that they can just, you know, as part of the energy deal that you sign up for, they just put a box in your house with some batteries somewhere, and it sorts it all out for you, and they manage the demand and the grid response and all this kind of stuff. It seems like a bit of a good idea to me, but you know, maybe they just can't get the supply of the batteries or whatever. I don't know. But I'd really like them to see them be able to do something that offers the consumer a way of buying into this without all of the upfront cost handled by the consumer, but you know, packaged up as a product that you pay for monthly. Just like you buy a very expensive mobile phone, you know, maybe energy companies could come along and, you know, sell you a tariff which comes with batteries. Maybe there already is. I don't know. I haven't checked because I'm going to do it this way. But you know, do let me know in the comments below how you're coping with this energy crisis. Are you doing the same thing as I'm doing? Have you already done the same thing as I'm doing? I know I'm late to this. I have been doing other things. You know, I've been doing vehicle to grid stuff, and that kind of has meant I haven't really looked at batteries until right now, because I thought that might be a good way to go, but it isn't just yet. It will be, it absolutely will be, but it isn't ready just yet. There's a bit of technology development that needs to go on there. But if you're interested, do check it out. I've got some videos on the vehicle to grid stuff. It's worth looking at because it's definitely the future. Anyway, that's what we're doing. We're going to see the results of that very, very soon. So I hope you'll stick around. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.